I have an opportunity to sit down for 10 minutes with Lachlan Morton, and it's the day of his film premiere for Great Southern Country. And soon it goes live across the world. It's a pleasure to catch up casually. We could cover a lot of territory, but first of all, congratulations on getting around the country very quickly.
Thanks, mate.
I'm sure your legs are still spinning, but I don't think you ever stopped riding, did you? You just, had a day off and that was about it?
Yeah, basically. I had a bit of racing to do still, so I was trying to keep moving afterwards. But once I finally got home, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, I had a bit of R&R and kicked back and let the body catch up.
Okay, and it's all caught up. It all feels normal again, doesn't it? Do you sort of have any muscle memories still twitching a few months later or not?
Lingering? No, I'm all right now. I was definitely like for a few weeks, probably a month afterwards. Yeah, it's a lot of muscle damage, just like a lot of wear and tear. And there was like a short period I thought maybe I'd done some permanent damage, but
You're reaching for your back, does that mean it was
no,
in
not my back. No, just like my legs. They were just like I'd really, and every time I tried to go hard, I would just have like a lot of muscle pain. And I did a race. I think it was 10 days later. It's probably the worst I'd ever felt racing. And I mean, doing something like this, you never know what the recovery is going to look like, because it's something that's new for me, and I guess not a lot of people jump from like that distance back to shorter racing distance and that kind of thing. So it's always unknown. But eventually, once I started back, kind of preparing again for this year, things slowly came back. But I had to work a bit on like lifting weights again and just like doing some things to build some muscle and strength back, after just such a long endurance slog, I guess. So yeah, there was work to be done to recover, but it was more that like work to be done as opposed to time off.
What was the body differences from beginning to end? Did your weight fluctuate a great deal? Did you feel like, because I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I never weigh myself, so I don't know like weight wise. I think I'm sure that there would have been some changes, but I don't like. I think like from looking at myself before and afterwards, I didn't feel like I dropped a great deal of weight. There was only one day I was crook where I couldn't really eat well. But beyond that, my appetite was good, so that's kind of how I go about it. I eat to my appetite, and I never felt like I had to force anything. Like I felt pretty healthy, I guess, and I was pretty strict with sleep, just to experience like that's kind of the
During or after or before or everything?
during,
Mhm.
yeah, during, making sure I got around 6 hours a night. There was a couple of nights I got like 8 hours. One or two nights I was only able to get like 5 hours, but I think keeping that sleep helped me recover pretty well. And I mean, it's all relative, right? Like I didn't finish feeling great, but like I felt healthy. There wasn't any chronic like symptoms, I guess, beyond just like tired legs and like generally feeling fatigued. I mean, yeah, I was lucky. Like the first half, I would say for me was harder physically, because your body's adapting, and I didn't do any specific like ultra training. You just kind of have to. The way my seasons work, I don't really have like the time to put into being like, oh, I'm going to spend a whole month getting ready to run around Australia. I basically had like 6 days at home before I came to Australia, where I could get on a road bike and somewhat prepare.
The ride is the training.
Yeah.
It's the only way a thing like that could be. It's not like you're going to go out and do a practice run.
Yeah, and that just kind of means your body goes through like a lot of uncomfortable adapting, I guess, in the first week to 10 days, which for me, it's like everything from like your saddle, like saddle sores, that kind of thing. Like your body's kind of like building up tolerance to being in the saddle that long.
Yeah.
To like callus in the hands, to like both my Achilles blew out pretty bad in the first week, so they were super swollen. Just still got no idea where that was going, but
And it just went away.
yeah, just like
Was there some acupuncture,
happily,
some fancy treatment in any
no,
way?
nothing crazy. Athlete Brown was along with me, and she was giving me rubs and just generally trying to like loosen it up. But it's just your body has to start adapting to what it's doing, and you're kind of in a phase where you've got to nurse it a little bit, and then eventually it feels like your body catches up with your head and says like, okay, we're going to keep doing this, and then you kick into gear.
It just goes on autopilot after a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
Excuse me, sorry, man.
yeah, then the second half I'd say was a lot more mental. I mean, there's like the building fatigue, but just like staying in it, like at that intensity, day in, day out, it gets difficult. And that became a bigger challenge. And then going into like recovery, like you said, I think just like mentally it was strange to finish. Like I'd say that was also equally
difficult to start, harder to finish because you're so accustomed to rolling.
Hard, just like, I mean, for a whole month I didn't go into a shop. I didn't like drive in a car. I didn't like watch TV. I barely looked at my phone. Like I wasn't doing anything that I guess like modern living requires.
It was just ride, eat, sleep. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, and like chat with the crew and like I'd have that, but that was kind of it. And it was really nice, having that like break in a way from life. But then when you drop back into it, like the next day, I wanted to cook dinner. One, because I hadn't cooked anything for ages, but I wanted to cook for the crew because they've been looking after things. And I went to the supermarket to try and get everything, and I had like 6 things to buy, and it took me like an hour to get around it. I was just struggling, like and the interaction with people, and like a lot of it was like it's just a lot. And then you also like every time I'd fall asleep, I felt like I was like back riding again. Like living it every night for like it was like bang on 2 weeks, and then that kind of slowly disappeared. But there's a lot of those things that like are just strange, to go to like dead stop after doing something so intense for such a prolonged period.
You said this was something new, but that's kind of your gig, isn't it? Is dreaming up new things every time. Is there one that you're like, oh, I'll do that again, and that was the most fun?
There's definitely routes I'd like to do again. Like a lot of the bigger rides I've done, I'd love to go and ride the route again, but more so in like a to tour it, not
Just cruise.
Yeah. There's a lot you miss going quickly, and a lot of places you'd love to be able to hang out for a bit longer, and you can't because you're racing in a way. I still saw so much, but you also see places in passing. I mean, especially like a country like Australia, or even routes like the Divide in the US, or you're covering so much ground that you kind of identify places where I'd love to come back and spend more time here. In terms of like repeating a ride, there's always a temptation because as soon as you finish, you're like, I could do this better. I could be faster. I could because you learn so much, right? So I have no doubt if I was to go and ride around Australia again, you could do it quicker because you just have so much more experience, right? You know where you're going. Um, but then I'd rather take that time and energy and just put it into something else that's new, rather than become obsessed over a route. Because again, like when you're really getting into the details and the weeds of performance and going fast, it starts to lose its appeal for me again, because that's what I used to do, and I don't know.
That's why you want to now go for a slow ride, I suppose, because
Yeah, or even you're doing something quick, but it's so much more than that. Like the experience, like you're seeing a whole bunch of new places. You're testing yourself in a way, but it's not about peak performance.
no.
You know?
I wasn't. Yeah, the performance aspect of it is intriguing, but I think it's the emotional and the mental challenge that really appeals to me.
Yeah,
The things that you overcome. And I've only ridden with you twice in the last couple of months. Once was coming back from Wollonga on Saturday, and it was a great deal of fun, dodging a lot of other bike riders. And then the other time was when you were coming through Sydney on your epic journey. So it just felt like there's only one speed, and it's just sort of just go the whole time. When you're speaking, however, it's nice and mellow and calm. Do you sort of have is there a legs and your mind element to you, if you know what I'm saying with that?
I think bike riding's always been a outlet for me in a lot of ways. I think I'm most comfortable when I'm riding. I think clearer. If I remove that from my life, then I'm probably less calm. If I hadn't been able to go and ride my bike this morning, I'd be less fun now.
But you do get excitable when you do whoop a bit, or not?
Yeah, I love riding my bike. I get excited, and if you get me in a race, I'm still a competitor at heart, But I definitely I draw the line when I finish riding,
Then it's
which I used to struggle with the fact that being a professional athlete, it's a 24-hour job. You race whatever. I guess technically on the clock when you're racing, but everything that goes into preparation, from your sleep to recovery, all those things, I guess, are also what makes you an athlete, professional athlete. I just struggled with that a bit, because you never get off the clock. Whereas now when I'm done riding, I'm done riding. I don't think about it really. I think about it, but I'm not stressed about all those other details. And then when I'm on my bike, I have the energy for it. I love it. Different approach. I don't think I'm a different person riding.
no.
I'm a little bit different person racing, I would say. But I'm also I'm aware there's a part of my personality that really enjoys and needs that outlet, and I'm sure one day it'll be enough. I won't need to pin a number on again. But I think when I was younger, it was more about proving yourself, proving worth, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now it's just the intensity of the competition.
You've pretty much proven you can ride a bike long.
Yeah, I know I can do things, and in terms of races I want to win and things I want to do, I've done a lot of those things. So I don't have that itch, but even it's 2 nights ago going to the park here to do the chop, and once I'm in it, I love that. It's everything's gone. You just chop it up. It's you and 8 other guys, and you're just ripping each other's legs off, and it's that's what I'm doing, and that I love something that's encompassing like that, and I think that's hard to replicate outside of competition, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We got to wrap things up because we got a movie to watch. But when we were talking on the ride back into Sydney, you made one comment that resonated with me, and that it was that people in the country were far friendlier to bike riders. From all that you've learned, let's say just from that one ride, but if you want to apply other nations to the equation, I'm keen to hear. Where is society best managing the bike rider? And what would you suggest after all you've done to make the bike rider a more acceptable part of society?
I guess I'm making a sweeping statement, maybe generalizing a bit, but I think it seemed like smaller towns where people know each other and I guess have more value on relationships, person to person. They seem to treat you more as a person, whereas in cities it's like everyone's kind of on their thing. Someone's going to work, and
People become more like numbers or something.
yeah, I mean, if you're stuck in traffic, you don't think, oh, we're all stuck here together. You're just like, oh, these cars are in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the same way that, there's a person on their way to work riding a bike. You're just like, no, there's
Someone in my way.
In the way, being an idiot. And I don't know what the remedy to that is. I think the cities that have the most infrastructure are obviously the best places to ride, but that's kind of still like a separation tactic. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to think that like the more people become accustomed to bike riders being around, the more they realise that it might just be like their uncle, or maybe their kid also then starts commuting, and then that helps them create that link to like, oh wait, no, that's just someone doing something. So just like a general awareness. But yeah, it's a hard question, right? I think like it's always I'm always so impressed with the dedicated cyclists in Sydney, for example, because when I go out riding here, I'm like, damn, this is hectic, right? And it's like it takes someone dedicated and loves it to go out there, and it feels like you're kind of like going out to battle.
It shouldn't be
go out riding. Which obviously it'd be better if it's not like that, but that's just how it is. So I think like it's kind of unfortunately the responsibility, I guess, of cyclists to be aware of their own safety and their surroundings and try and minimise the risk element. But at the same time, you're also trying to enjoy what you do, right? And you don't want to be out on a bike ride the whole time trying to look over your shoulder to make sure that the car behind you has seen you or whatever that is. So, I mean, for me, the approach that I have now is I minimise my time riding the road generally. Like if I'm training, I don't buy the road bike, and I spend more time off road just to so I enjoy the riding more, so I can kind of lessen that factor of having to account for cars and that, but also just to minimise the probability of having an incident, right? Because it's still a risky thing to do, to go riding. And yeah, if you can minimise your chances of an incident, it's kind of the way to do it.
It's risky, but it's a beautiful thing to do that actually brings people together, and I'm glad that we've met because of the bike. what you did last year riding around Australia really, really resonated. It was fantastic. So I'm looking
Sure.
forward to seeing the film. Thanks for having a chat.
Yeah, cool.
Cheers, man.
Thanks.